After using the power of community-crafted historical rework mods to fix the inaccuracies of Battlefield 1 single player in our previous video, we are now back, this time to even more expansively enhance the realism of this game's multiplayer. We begin by overhauling the character models, and there are actually many different mods available to do this. But for this showcase, we will focus on the 3 biggest and best ones, starting with the Battlefield 1914 mod made by our good team member Jay Fuzz, which aims to bring a more accurate early World War I aesthetic to each faction, while still keeping some of the game's unique tactical elements. We will first cover the Allied forces, starting with the United States Army. Due to this faction having not entered World War I until 1917, specifically just for the Early War 1914 mod, it completely reworks them into Canadian forces, who were absent from the original game. This sees the British 1903 uniforms on them changed into their own unique Canadian 7-button tunic with stand colours featuring Canadian infantry badges. The base game's British 17 Battalion Northumberland's Fusilier insignias are now gone as a result of this tunic replacement. The Brodie helmet on the assault soldier has been changed to a service cap with Canadian insignia instead, due to the Brodie not being introduced among any force until 1916. The medic's vanilla cap with the British Tank Corps insignia has been replaced with this same service cap, while the US 1910 haversack that was originally on him has been changed to a PO8 large pack with a bone saw stuck in the straps. You may also notice that all of these mods across the board fix the inaccuracy of many of the characters lacking facial hair by introducing a number of gruffier new face models, many of which having such elements, especially mustaches, which were widespread during World War I, specifically earlier in the war. The Ford Model 8 experimental helmet on the support soldier has been removed and substituted also with the Canadian insignia featuring service cap, while his original US grenade vest has been supplemented with a new leather 303 bandolier and Maxim gun belt. Plus, his original French M1892 holster is now gone and replaced with a relocated leather equipment pouch. His vanilla US 1910 haversack has also been replaced with a PO8 large pack, paired with a new small pack attached to his hip. For the Scout, he has now been changed into a white Canadian, since African descendants in the Canadian Expeditionary Force were extremely rare. For the US side cap on the Scout and Brodie on the tanker, they have both been changed into an accurately modelled cap comforter instead. The Cavalry, who originally wore out-of-place German lobster armour and a C96 pistol holster over his British uniform, has been changed to now represent an officer, featuring an officer's 4-button tunic with lieutenant rank insignia, paired with cream-coloured Bedford cord breeches and leather gaiters. In the case of the pilot model, his incorrect RFC jacket has been converted into a more appropriate long leather flying coat. All of the flame troopers among all sides have had their assemblies rejigged a little to remove the hood, making it pairable with regular headgear, which for the Canadian is now a cap comforter. For the Sentry, all of them among every faction have had their experimental American arm shielding removed entirely across the board. All of the Sentry's headgear in the base game consisted of a German elephant mask regardless of nationality, so they have been changed. For the Canadian, a service cap and Wilmer eye shield takes its place. In the case of the Infiltrator, across all forces, his camouflage patterns have been removed. Also note that this mod changes the US emblems and text on the maps to Canadian maple leaf emblems and Dominion of Canada as the text. The vehicle's insignias have been converted to maple leaf markings, while the flags on the maps have been changed to period Canadian red ensign flags. Our second character rework mod is a 1916 enhanced multiplayer, also by Jay Fuzz, which aims to more authentically depict the mid to late World War I period, while still keeping some of the tactical elements too. This mod version returns the North American forces back to being US Army personnel, but turns their base game's out-of-place British 1903 uniforms and 1908 webbing set into proper American 1912/17 uniforms with correct 1910 web equipment. Their misplaced British Mark VI water bottles have also been corrected into proper American ones, and their base game's British 1907 bayonets with E-tool handles are now gone. Also note that most of these new uniforms throughout all of the mods are also accurately reflected on our first-person character too. For the Assault class, this mod makes it so that he now portrays a Harlem Hellfighter. His gas mask bag has been moved to his hip, while his scarf and British SMLE bandolier have been removed and replaced with the US grenade vest vest that was previously given to the support class. His French M1892 holster and German M15 gas mask bag have been deleted and supplemented with a new first aid pouch and a shotgun belt in correct canvas. His Brody helmet has been changed into an M15 Adrian helmet to show the French influence on them when they became a part of the French army upon entering the war. On the topic of the Hellfighters using French equipment, we have listened to the requests in the comments of our last video to give them French webbing instead of the US ones, and so Jay Fuzz is working on implementing that for them currently. The incorrect aforementioned British 17th Battalion insignias that were originally on all of the US forces have been removed and changed into a 369th Infantry Regiment patch for the Harlem Hellfighter, while the rest of the US soldiers have been given US 82nd Infantry Division insignia instead. The US Medic's cap with the British Tank Corps insignia has been changed into the US side cap that was originally on the Scout, plus he gained new canvas gaiters with brown breeches too. The support has had his Ford Model 8 experimental helmet replaced with a Brody. His scarf and loose hanging rain cape from underneath his haversack have been removed, and a US 1910 shovel has been added. The Vanilla Games grenade vest has been changed into a new BAR support ammunition rig. His misplaced French M1892 holster is now the fresh first aid pouch, while his also out of place British leather equipment pouch is now a gas mask bag. The base game Scout is now a white American soldier with a Brody helmet instead of the side cap. His original bolo knife along with his misplaced French M1892 holster and binocular case have been removed and replaced with a new American ammo bandolier, US trench knife and gas mask bag, along with canvas gaiters with brown breeches. For the US pilot, his incorrect British RFC jacket has been altered into a correct US pilot leather jacket, with him also now wearing officer's Bedford cord breeches and leather gaiters. The sentry's German mask has been changed to the Ford Model 8 helmet, and the flame trooper now wears an uncovered Brody. Our third and final model rework mod is Battlefield 1918, made by American Hero in collaboration with Jay Fuzz. This increases the character's realism for the late war period to the greatest extent, by giving them all a more standard look with as little of the tactical elements as possible. For the US forces, this mod applies most of the 1916 mod's changes here too, but with an extra few edits. With this mod, the assault soldier is made to no longer be a Harlem Hellfighter, but a regular white infantryman. Instead of the British Tank Corps insignia featuring cap, the medic now wears a standard Brody helmet. The support class has gained a beanie under his Brody, while the scout soldier now has had his British rain cape also removed. For the British Army, the 1914 mod sees the uniform colour tweaked slightly to a somewhat lighter khaki brown colour. The 17th Battalion Northumberland Fusiliers insignia has been removed off them to make them more generic and suitable across the many different environments they feature in. The assault soldier's Brody helmet is now a service peak cap, which Jay Fuzz is working on replacing the Tank Corps insignia of which with a more suitable one. This soldier also has a new gruffier face texture. The medic also has received an updated face texture to have a beard that most sheiks had IRL. The support soldier has been completely overhauled to now be a Scottish Highlander. The base game's out of place American Wilmer eye shield and Brody helmet have been deleted and replaced with a Glengarry hat. On his torso, he has gained a P14 leather webbing belt and a Maxim gun ammo belt. His trousers are also now an army kilt instead. The P08 large pack on his back has gained a new standard British mess kit, while the greatcoat under it has been replaced with a woolen blanket instead. The Austrian 1910 shovel is no longer found on him either. The black British scout now instead represents a service cap wearing white soldier, with his Vanilla Games misplaced US 1910 shovel and oversized German M15 gas mask bag now having been deleted. The cavalry with his German holster and armor has been changed to now represent a British officer, featuring the same lieutenant's officer uniform that we saw on the Canadian cavalry earlier, which makes sense as Canadian officers had the same attire as British ones in World War I. Jay Fuzz has also stated that he is currently working on giving them a better officer's cap too. The British tanker's Brody is now a peak cap, and the pilot's incorrect Royal Flying Corps jacket is now the correctly modelled long leather RFC flying coat. The flame trooper gained a service cap, while the sentry's German elephant mask is now a cap comforter with the Wilmer eye shield. For the 1916 mod, this carries over most of the changes from 1914 but with a few edits. The assault, support support and tanker have regained their Brodies. The medic has been changed from a Sikh to a regular British Tommy, wearing a service cap. For the support class, he remains a Scottish Highlander, but now with a canvas Lewis gun magazine rig. The base game's Black British Scout now instead represents a turban-wearing Indian Sikh, who were more common in British service. The Flame Trooper and Sentry have both had their headgear changed to a Brodie. The 1916 mod also makes it so that the anachronistic 1920s era Mark VI General Service Respirator has been updated for all Allied Entente forces so that they are now correct British SPRs. The 1918 mod keeps many of the changes from the other two mods, but again with further additions. We see that it retextures much of their gear and uniforms completely by giving them better materials, coloring, repositions and more worn styles. The American shotgun belt, German grenade bundle and beanie under the Brodie have been removed from the assault soldier. As opposed to using the base game's Indian Sikh soldier, the medic class is a standard British soldier now. The medic has gained a Red Cross armband, and Brodie, for the support, he is no longer the previous two mods Scottish Highlander, but a regular British soldier, who has also had his vanilla games Brodie with the experimental US Ice Shield changed to a simple cloth covered Brodie helmet. His leather bandolier is now a gas mask bag, and his back gear no longer features the rain cape, while for the scout class, like the 1914 mod, he is a white British soldier instead. Now for the British and ANZAC forces on the DLC Gallipoli maps. Since these units only appear in an early war 1915 setting, both the 1914 and 1916 mods have the exact same changes in this regard. The assault soldier currently remains unchanged, but Jay Fuzz is working on giving him the period accurate khaki drill tunic that was previously shown in the single player 1916 mod video. The medic's incorrect generic felt hat is now correctly modeled into a proper Aussie slouch hat. His inaccurate blue recolored 1903 service dress tunic has been changed into a correct grey/blue flannel undershirt, with the default game's 1908 webbing set having been replaced with Australian leather webbing. His trousers have also been changed to shorts. The support is currently unchanged, but he will also receive a khaki drill tunic once they are ready. The scout, who originally had a face that was closer to an Aboriginal Australian, has received a new face model, which more closely resembles the facial features of a Maori New Zealander, as he is wearing a New Zealand lemon squeezer hat. His oversized German M15 gas mask bag is also now gone. Since tanks didn't yet exist by the time of the Gallipoli invasion, as well as these maps featuring naval vessels for use with the class, the tanker model has been completely overhauled to now represent a Royal Navy officer with a white and black peak cap, and the pilot has received the earlier shown better longer leather jacket. The Sentry's German headgear is now a peak cap with neck flap and a Wilmer eye shield, and the flamethrower has gained a pit helmet. For the 1918 mod, this carries over the changes from 1914 and 1916 with more edits, including their standard uniform and gear being given better materials and coloring. The scarf, shotgun belt and armbands have been removed from the assault class, with him gaining a gas mask bag instead. The blue recolored 1903 tunic on the medic has been changed into a more standard khaki tunic with rolled up sleeves, to somewhat resemble an Australian tunic of the time. The support has received a rolled up sleeve uniform. His gloves have been removed and his trousers are now shorts. For the original Maori scout soldier, this mod makes it so that he is now changed to a standard white New Zealand soldier, with a new custom New Zealand uniform retexture and full-length trousers. The 1914 mod gives the British Royal Marines somewhat extensive retouching, with their base blue uniforms now being a correct black shade, and their white puttees having been changed into new, more accurate marine type gaiters. The Assault Marine's white Brodie helmet is now a Navy ratings cap. His original scarf has been removed to reveal a new Navy type jumper, while his base game's 1908 webbing has been changed to British P14 leather equipment instead. The unmodded medic and support marines' incorrect reskinned 1903 service dresses have been reworked into accurate Royal Marine tunics, which have a standing collar and no hip pockets. The support has also had his original white Brodie helmet with the seemingly post-war anti-flash hood removed, with a ratings cap taking its place. The scout has had his greatcoat recolored into a more accurate British khaki color. The tanker has been changed into the aforementioned Navy captain. The pilot has also received the better longer leather flying coat, with his pilot helmet having having been changed into a ratings cap. The Sentry's German mask is now a ratings cap with a Wilmer eye shield, and the Flame Trooper has gained a khaki coat and a flash hood and ratings cap. The 1916 mod carries over the same changes from 1914, with the exception that the white Brodies have been returned for the Assault, Support, Sentry and Flame Trooper. For the 1918 mod, this also sees some of the aforementioned edits brought over, but with some other adjustments as well. Most evidently, it sees the Royal Marines given a true to late war period look by changing their early war blue sailor uniforms into more standard British uniforms. The Assault class has had the American shotgun belt, French holster and German grenade bundle removed, with a gas mask bag and new haversack model being added instead. Since the Brody being white is actually a fictitious artistic decision from DICE, it has been changed to a marine cap instead for the Assault 2. The medic has gained a red cross armband. The support tool and gloves on the medic have been removed. The support marine has had his white Brody changed to a more standard color. He has also gained a rolled up sleeve uniform with a support tool, while his original gloves are also now gone, and the scout class's rating cap is now a regular Brody helmet. Now for the Italians. The 1914 mod sees their uniform given better coloring and wool appearances, with the incorrect ribbon bars that were on all of their 1909 tunics now being completely gone. Their rank insignias have also now been removed. Their vanilla British Mark VI water bottles and 1907 bayonets with e-tool handles have now been converted into proper Italian equivalents. Due to the Adrian helmet not being supplied to the Italians until late 1915 onwards, the Assault Soldier's Adrian has been replaced with an Alpini hat, and his scarf is now removed. The Medic's Adrian has been replaced with a 1909 cap. His ski mask and Bersaglieri cape or cloak are also now removed. The Support's rare experimental Danand visor is now a standard field cap. The Scout's field cap is now an Alpini hat with a feather instead. The Italian Cavalieri, who originally wore a green British uniform with a British Tank Corps cap and German lobster armor, has been overhauled to now be an Italian officer, with an officer's tunic, cap, and riding breeches with fancy leather boots. The tanker's misplaced British Brody helmet is now a cap comforter. The base game's pilot, with his incorrect British coat, now instead wears the officer's uniform with unique coloration and aviator's insignia with a flying helmet. The Sentry, Flame Trooper, and Tank Hunter in the base game wore just green retextured British uniforms, but they have now been given proper Italian tunics. In addition, the Sentry Soldier has had his German elephant mask and lobster armor replaced with accurate Italian Farina armor and helmet instead, and the Flame Trooper has also gained a 1909 cap. The Italian soldiers in the 1916 mod continue to feature many of these edits with slightly more additions. The Assault Soldier now wears an RDT tunic with corresponding insignia, excluding the collar tabs, which we have since been informed were actually accidentally modelled on post-war ones, so Jay is currently working on changing them into proper silver star ones for a future edition. The Assault's vanilla Adrian helmet had no chin straps for some reason, so have since been given a better representation. Also, the cape has been removed as it would be wrong for an RDT soldier. The Support Soldier has also gained an RDT tunic. The tanker's Brody is now a field cap, and the Flame Trooper has gained the better Adrian. In the case of the 1918 mod, on top of having some of the changes from the last two mods, the US shotgun belt, British World War II Mark 8 goggles, and French holster have been removed from the Assault class, while new gear has been added instead, such as rope and a carrying bag. The Medic has gained a Red Cross armband. The Support class is now back to being a regular infantryman, with his cape, water canteen, and bayonet now deleted. His experimental Danand visor is now replaced with a cloth-covered Adrian. As showcased throughout this video, the power of community-crafted mods can really improve and transform the experience of video games, and a very fine example of this for another mainstream title, Grand Theft Auto 5, would be the custom-made servers of Grand Roleplay, our gracious sponsor. All new systems of factions, huge fleets of cars, a bunch of cool clothes, and more are all a part of these completely free-to-download servers. All you need to do is follow the link in the description to the project website, fill out all the fields, and create your own character. Registering through the website this way will get you one of the free premium cars. You can also register directly in the game, which too is easy, not forgetting to enter my ID in the special field to gain a nice bonus of in-game currency and VIP status. RP Grand continues to gain constant updates, such as the new battle pass that was added. They even just recently made a Halloween themed event. For those that are not PC players, a mobile version of RP Grand is available. This is an analog version of GTA 5 on your phone created by the same team of developers, which you can download and use the promo code Frosty to get a free car. So don't miss your chance. Use the link in the description to register, get bonuses and enjoy the game both on PC and on your phone, all for completely free. Now back to fixing inaccuracies. Next is the French forces, who saw extensive reworking. The 1914 mod seized their original 1915 tunics and trousers, replaced with early war M1897 tunics and Pentalon Rouge trousers, while their vanilla M15 horizontal blue-grey coats now instead reflect that of the early war 1887 coat. Their absurdly incorrect World War II German white straps and Imperial German belts and buckles they originally wore have been replaced with correct French MLE versions, and their vanilla anachronistic Moss 36 pouches are now accurate MLE pouches, while their British Mark 6 water bottles are also replaced with a correct French equivalent. The cloth on their hands and scarves on their necks are now removed, revealing the standing colour designs on their tunics. For the sake of uniqueness, the assault soldier has now been overhauled to represent a French colonial soldier. This means his base uniform has been changed to an early war dark blue tirailleur uniform, with a double-breasted tunic and blue trousers and puttees. His original M15 Adrian helmet is now a tirailleur colonial hat. His base misplaced British SBR bag is now an accurate French M2 gas mask bag. The medic's Adrian is now an early war EM kepi. The support soldier's original rare Pollock helmet has been changed into an early war kepi in engineer's colours. His base British leather jerkin has been removed. His vanilla misplaced German 1895 turnister has been replaced with a correct French 1893 canvas turnister, and his also out of place Italian rucksack has been replaced with a French bread bag. The British rain cape on the Scout has been removed, and he has also gained the new French M1893 canvas turnister. The French cavalry originally wore a British uniform with a British tank corps hat and German armour and holster. He now instead wears a correct French officer's uniform and kepi hat, featuring tall lace-up leather boots and breeches in early war colours. The tanker's manila generic overalls have been changed to a leather jacket, as was famous among French tankers throughout the first half of the 20th century. His Adrian is now the engineer's kepi as well. The pilot, who was originally just a recoloured version of the incorrect British RFC one, now has been given a proper French pilot leather jacket with the same breeches and boots as the officer. The flametrooper's greatcoat has been changed to a tunic with an infantry kepi hat. The sentry's German mask is now an engineer kepi with the Wilmer eye shield, and for the French raider he now wears a kepi under his skull cap, while his armour has gained a canvas cover over it, as this type of armour did IRL. For the 1916 mod, this brings over almost all of the aforementioned changes, but returns the base M15 uniforms, but with the tunics and greatcoats replaced with less unkept versions, looking more clean and tidy. The 1916 mod also sees the assault colonial soldier don the later war mustard tirailleur uniform, while the sentry has gained the helmet that the support originally had. The 1918 mod sees some of the same changes with a few other alterations. The standard French uniform was slightly differently retextured with better wool materials and colour. The scarf was also recolored from yellow to blue. The assault soldier is now just a standard white French infantryman. His US shotgun belt is removed. The medic has gained a red cross armband. The support class has had the Shosha mag removed, while his experimental headgear is now replaced with a cloth covered Adrian helmet. Now for the Imperial Russian White Army. The 1914 mod sees their green Cherkeska coats being recolored to brown, and all of the soldiers' rank insignias have been removed. For the assault, since the 1915 wool padded Telegroika jacket he had in the base game was rare and only came into being in 1915 and 16, he now wears an infantry wool tunic. His Adrian helmet has been changed to an infantry winter papaka hat, along with his ski mask being removed too and replaced with a woolen scarf instead. The officer's cross straps that the assault and medic originally had are now gone. The vanilla medic's weirdly loose sleeve cuffs around his wrists have also been fixed, with the addition of better bandolier-shaped new sleeves on his wool tunic, plus the tunic was recolored from pea green to a more yellowish green. The support bandolier has also been made to reflect the IRL black canvas version. The base game's female scout has been changed to a man, as there was no women's battalion earlier in the war. The vanilla Bastiaik has been replaced by an infantry cap instead. The cavalry, who again originally wore German lobster armor and a C96 holster over his uniform, now has been overhauled to represent a Russian officer, in what is colloquially known as a French-style tunic. The generic overalls on the tanker have been changed to a wool infantry uniform, while his Adrian is now an EM cap. While the pilot, who originally wore yet another recolored incorrect British RFC jacket, now instead has a Russian pilot and officer's leather jacket. The flame trooper has also gained a winter papaka. The German mask on the sentry has been edited to a winter papaka and Wilmer eye shield. The upside down pistol holster he originally had has also been fixed, and the tank hunter's original issue of his coat clipping with a British green tunic has been fixed by him gaining a Russian coat. For the 1916 mod, on top of some of the aforementioned edits, there are more unique ones. Since the assault's Adrian helmet had weird proportions, he has been given a better model and retextured to a greener color instead of the rusty brown. The sentry's German mask is now a Russian Adrian and Wilmer eye shield, while the flame trooper has instead gained a Russian Adrian. Also note that for both the 1916 and 1914 mods, they make it so that both Russian factions' original post-war British respirators have now been changed to the Zelensky Command gas mask. In the case of the 1918 mod, this sees further retextures. The specialty soldiers have gained proper Russian belt buckles. The assault class has had the US shotgun belt and French holster removed. Standard ammo pouches were added along with an axe. The medic has gained the Red Cross armband. The support class has had his trench coat and dagger, as well as the papaka hat removed, with a standard cap now being added. The scout soldier is back to being a male with a retextured bandolier. The Boschlock hood and officer's webbing was also removed. A scarf and papaka hat were added instead. Up next is the Bolshevik Red Army, who have been significantly updated to make them look more unique and a little more ragtag. The red striped beige pants that they had in the base game have been changed to dark blue for all of them. The assault has had his papaka hat replaced with a Bodanovka hat. The medic with his 1915 Telegroika jacket, officer's webbing, and Bodanovka hat has been completely overhauled to now wear a civilian double-breasted wool jacket and flat cap to represent the civilian militia soldiers that fought with the Bolsheviks. The support's base game misplaced British 1903 tunic is instead now replaced by the aforementioned Russian M15 padded jacket, while his original British 1908 large pack with an Austrian 1910 shovel has been changed to a more accurate Russian equivalent. The scout's vanilla greatcoat is now a gymnastorka under a Bolshevik Soviet M1923 greatcoat, which Jay is hoping to change to a more accurate M1919 coat in the future. His papaka hat has also now received a Red Army stripe. The base cavalry soldier, with his British tunic and German lobster armor and holster, has now been overhauled into a Bolshevik officer, wearing the officer's leather jacket. He also dons a unique Trotsky-style leather visor cap, along with a binoculars pouch and a Gaunt revolver pouch, as seen on the White Army soldier. The flame trooper has received the Bodanovka hat. For the 1916 mod, this has all the same changes as 1914, with the exception that the sentry now wears a leather jacket and Adrian. In the case of the 1918 mod, this carries over a few of the changes, and a new slightly fictionalized Red Army insignia for belt buckles was added too. The medic has received the Red Cross insignia. His base Bodanovka hat is now the updated papaka. The support class has had the British canteen, bayonet with E-tool, and greatcoat under his back gear removed. His scarf has been retextured too. The scout's papaka hat has been changed to the Bodanovka hat with an added scarf. We now move on to the Central Powers, starting with the German Empire. The early war 1914 mod keeps their 1907 Feldrock tunics, but with improved proportions, and the red piping on its skirt now being correctly gone. Their anachronistic World War II white straps are now correct bread bag straps. Their M15 Feldmantel greatcoats have been recolored to be solid grey, and slightly remodeled to more closely represent the early war 1908 greatcoats, with the barrel cuffs being removed. Their anachronistic World War II jack boots have been changed to period-correct brown 1866 model boots. The assault soldier's Austro-Hungarian base Stahlhelm with the brow plate has been changed into an early war cloth-covered Pickelhaube spiked helmet, featuring regiment numbers of the 17th, which matches the shoulder boards. He has also received a new storm pack setup on his back, meaning a mess kit attached in the middle of the greatcoat or Zeltbahn roll, and an 1893 bread bag in mustard brown below it. The medic Stahlhelm has been replaced with a 1910 Feldmütze, and he has also now gained a mustache featuring face model. The support's original experimental Gaida skull cap is now a covered Pickelhaube. His vanilla misplaced Italian mess kit is now a German one, and his also Italian lower pack has been supplemented with a German green-grey 1893 bread bag. The Scout Stahlhelm has been changed to an uncovered Pickelhaube. Across all three mods, he is also no longer black, as African forces in the European German army were practically non-existent. The original black German cavalry with his lobster armor now instead represents a white German officer, featuring an officer's double-breasted tunic with ceremonial belt in Prussian colors. His non-unit markings featuring covered Pickelhaube has also been changed to an uncovered Pickelhaube for added drip. The tanker's Stahlhelm is now an Earthsands pressed felt Pickelhaube. The pilot's incorrect recolored British RFC jacket is now a correct German flying leather jacket. The flame trooper now wears an uncovered Pickelhaube. The sentry's mask is changed to a covered Pickelhaube with a Wilbur eye shield. The trench raider now wears a Gaida skull cap. His French armor is changed to German lobster armor, and his British SBR bag is now an M15 Gummermaß bag instead. The 1914 mod also changes the 1917 leather mask of the Central Powers factions to the M15 Gummermaske instead. The 1916 mod carries over most of these changes, but makes the M15 Feldmantel greatcoat now correctly colored, as field grey with a light green color, and also making the original incorrect red piping on it completely gone. The Austro-Hungarian Stahlhelms now correctly represent German-made Stahlhelms, with chin strap lugs being accurately placed, and the chin strap itself correctly representing the 1895 chin strap. The German assault no longer wears an incorrectly camouflaged brow plate, instead having an authentically camouflaged M16 Stahlhelm. His jack boots are now puttees and low boots, while his trousers have received new leather knee reinforcements, as would be seen on German stormtroopers. The support's Gaida skull cap is now the improved Stahlhelm. The flame trooper receives a Stahlhelm, and the sentry now instead wears a Stahlhelm with an improvised face shield. The trench raider's headgear is also changed to a Stahlhelm with a Sturmpanzer brow plate. For the late war 1918 mod, this changes their 1907 uniforms to full proper M15 uniforms. This mod also retextures and repositions some of the gear items, as well as changed their jack boots to standard puttees and low boots for a late war style. The pistol pouch and US shotgun belt were removed from the assault soldier. The medic has gained a Red Cross armband, and the support class's greatcoat has been changed to a tunic, while his original Gaida skull cap is now a cloth-covered Stahlhelm. The Austro-Hungarians in the base game wore almost entirely just slightly recolored German uniforms and gear. The 1914 mod changes this drastically so that they now feature their correct Hedgegrau 1908 tunics, trousers and greatcoats. Their jack boots are now puttees and low boots instead, as would be the case IRL. Their German white straps, belts and Gewehr 98 pouches are now proper Austro-Hungarian ones with M95 pouches. Their vanilla German bayonets, shovels and gas mask canisters have been replaced by appropriate Austro-Hungarian equivalents. For the assault soldier, since the burned off helmet was not introduced until 1917, it has been replaced with a 1908 Feldkappe. His base generic ski mask and strange leather cross straps have been ditched. He has also been given a new Austro-Hungarian rucksack. The medic's burned over is now a Führer's Feldkappe, and he has also gained a greatcoat. The out-of-place Italian bomber helmet that was originally on the support has been changed to a Bosnian fez to show him as a Bosniak soldier. His greatcoat has also been changed to a tunic. The original cavalry's attire, like all of the others, was completely cooked, consisting of German lobster armor and a C96 holster over a German 1907 uniform and covered Pickelhaube. So he has now been completely overhauled to be an officer, featuring an officer's double-breasted winter jacket jacket, officer's black kepi, and has fancier jackboots that you might expect to see on an officer. He has been given a red trim on his uniform, implying that he is a cavalry officer. The tanker Stahlhelm is now a Forager's cap, and the pilot's incorrect British RFC jacket has been changed to a black pilot's version of the officer's coat. The Flame Trooper has gained a Forager's cap, while the Sentry now wears a 1908 Feldkappa and Wilmer eye shield. The 1916 mod carries over all of these changes except for the following. The Assault's vanilla Berndorfer is now a more accurate Austro-Hungarian Stahlhelm, with the chin strap lugs higher up than the German version, in a more brown colour and featuring the Austro-Hungarian canvas chin strap. The Medic's Berndorfer is now a 1908 Feldkappa. The Support's Italian bomber helmet is a Berndorfer helmet instead. The Scout's field cap is now the correctly modelled Stahlhelm, and the tanker Stahlhelm has been changed to the updated version too. The Flame Trooper gains a Berndorfer instead, and the Sentry now also wears a burned off helmet with the forehead shield. The 1918 mod keeps all these changes, but retextures their uniform to a darker tone to match closer with their mid to late war Feldgrau uniforms. The American shotgun belt has been removed from the assault class. He has also gained leather knee pads. The Medic's Berndorfer is now a standard Stahlhelm, and he has gained the Red Cross armband. Up next is the Ottoman Empire. The Ottoman tunics are reworked via the 1914 mod from the game's default recolored German uniforms by removing the white straps and altering the cuffs, the number of buttons on the front, and removing the buttons from the back. The almost white colour they originally had has been changed to a desert tan colour, and their base German buttons and belt buckles have been changed to have Ottoman crescents on them instead. Their jackboots have been changed to puttees. The assault soldier's incorrect Austro-Hungarian based white Stahlhelm is now a Kabalak. The medic has been given a new purple collar, signifying that he is a medical troop, with there being new medical insignia on his shoulder boards as well. The unmodded game's fancy officers based Kabalak has been modified to be more generic by having the badges and chin straps removed. The support receives a new face model. The Scout's greatcoat has been retextured to a brown colour to match closer to their real ones. The cavalry, with his German lobster armour again, is now an Ottoman officer, with the correct shoulder boards and wearing an officer's fur hat and jackboots. The tanker Stahlhelm is now a head wrap, and the pilot's original British RFC attire has been changed so that he now wears a leather flying jacket and the same jackboots and trousers as the officer. The Flame Trooper gains a head wrap, and the Sentry now wears a Kavalak with Wilmer eye shield. The 1916 mod sees all of the 1914 changes carried over, except that the assault and tanker soldiers' original white Austro-Hungarian Stahlhelms have been changed to a correct Ottoman Stahlhelm with the cut down visor and darkened steel colour, which has also been given to the Sentry now. The Scout instead wears a Kabalak instead of the head wrap as well. The 1918 mod sees the new Ottoman uniforms given further different retexturings. The World War II British goggles and US shotgun belt are now removed from the assault soldier. The medic gains a new red crescent armband, which is the Ottoman version of the Red Cross. The goggles on the support class are also now gone, and the Scout soldier's greatcoat has been changed to a tunic. In the case of the DLC Gallipoli Ottomans, the 1914 and 1916 mods simply give them all the same edits but with a more darker brown coloured uniform, and also lacking any steel headgear entirely, of course. For the 1918 mod in this regard, it removes the German bundle grenade from the assault soldier. Now for the weapons of this game's multiplayer mode. There are a number of mods that improve the realism in this regard. First up would be the new optical sights to aperture sights mod, which, as the name suggests, removes all of the ridiculously inaccurate, experimental or misplaced optical sights and remodels them into aperture sights instead. Next is the historically faithful iron sights modification. Due to the devs wanting to give the player a larger sight image, many of the weapons in the base game have iron sights that are noticeably bigger and wider than their real life counterparts, so this mod tweaks most of the primary weapons' iron sights for a more realistic sight image. Following this is the no foregrips or palm rest modification, which removes all of the inaccurate, misplaced and sometimes unusable weapon variant foregrips and or palm rests, as well as change their animations to match their new look. We also have the Flash Hider Remover. In Battlefield 1, you're able to change recoil bias, but doing Doing this actually alters the weapon's appearance by adding a flash hider muzzle device, something that wasn't present on many of these weapons in reality. This mod helps eliminate this inaccuracy by removing the flash hider devices attached on all light machine gun with centered recoil bias, the most commonly used version. And then there is the realistic item names mod, which goes over the base game's many too vaguely named weapons, equipment, vehicles, and behemoths, and renames everything to be more realistic and precise. That means restoring trademark manufacturer names, using more accurate military designations where possible, and correcting errors. Other notable multiplayer mods would include the audio and visuals tweak one, which sees the base game's minimalist faction icons changed to more appropriate flags. The vanilla game's seemingly ahistorical generic flag for the Royal Navy has been changed to a proper white naval ensign instead, with the Russian Empire flag also having been tweaked slightly. Class gadgets have been retextured or slightly changed to be more faction neutral. Operations intermission voice lines has been modified so that each faction now speaks their own language regardless of the setting, and Polish voice lines have been added to the Germans, meaning you will hear a Pole here and there for added immersion. We also have the new gas mask visuals mod, which simply changes the base game's gas mask first person visual when worn to that of the German 1917 gas mask instead. And then there is also the German Schutztruppe mod, which edits the German models to be colonial Schutztruppen who fought in Southwest Africa. None of the maps in game take place in this part of Africa though, so it is a bit out of place, but still makes the vanilla game's Black Scout make a bit more sense and is a cool variation worth mentioning nonetheless. As we had warned about in our previous video, the new EA anti-cheat has been introduced to Battlefield 1, and as predicted, just like it did with Battlefield 5, it has, very unfortunately, completely destroyed the ability to mod Battlefield 1 at this current time, simply crashing the Frosty mod manager if one attempts to launch with any modifications on. The custom private Marne servers are currently trying to make a workaround for this so that they will be somewhat usable there, but this is private servers only. We may never be able to use mods on regular servers on Battlefield 1 ever again, severely limiting the almost 200 total custom modifications made by so many modders for this game, some of which, like the ones mentioned in this video, have been working on their mods for multiple years. Regardless, in the description will be the links to all the mods shown in this video, as well as to both the Battlefield modding and Marne private servers Discord communities. For an even more complete historical analysis of this game, click on this full video, where we list every single one of Battlefield 1's historical inaccuracies in its story mode campaign, or alternatively our most previous one, where we correct said campaign errors. Massive thanks to modders Jay Fuzz and American Hero for their help with this video, and of course thank you for watching. This has been a Frosty one, out.